Hi there, this is Linda, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, we're going to be flipping through November 2025 in my Hobonichi Cousin Avec. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, you guys, we are almost at the finish line. One more month after this one, and then we'll be done with another year in my journal. I am so excited that I have kept up with this all year, and I'm still going strong in December, and I'm excited about shifting for 2026 a little bit. As far as what you can expect from me here on YouTube, I do plan to continue sharing monthly flip throughs of my daily journal. For 2026, if you haven't seen my lineup video, I have a daily planner from Sterling Ink instead of the Hobonichi Cousin Avec, but it is a very similar layout and I plan to use it in a very similar way. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first, let's talk about the monthly spread. Well, actually, no. First, let's talk about our annual spreads. So this is the Avec system. So I have July through December in this book, and I had January through June in another book, but otherwise it's identical to the Hobonichi Cousin, just kind of splits it into two sections, which was great because this is getting super chunky. So for the Calendex, you get actually two Calendex spreads because you have the full year in both books. So for this one, I decided to do basically what I did in the first one, which is kind of a note from whatever is on that daily page. The pink ones are travel days, and I do a lot of travel journaling in here, so I like to be able to see at a glance where my travel spreads are. And then the blue ones are reviews. I include all my media reviews in my daily journal, so this is the way I can flip straight to one. And on the other days, I include just some sort of reference to something that happened on that day, something that is on that page. So if I'm swatching new inks, I'm going to put that just kind of a recap. My friends came over for a crafty day. I can see where that is. I swatched new washi tape, so I can just kind of see what is there. And then I have a photo of me from the month. For the second Calendex page, instead of using it for the other 6 months, which aren't in this book, I just renumbered them or relabeled them to also be July through December. And I'm doing the high and low temperature. You can see I did not finish November. I will go back and do it. I can get the historical weather data, and I think that this will be kind of interesting because we're going to get super low in December, but this is something I'm not going to continue next year. It's just another thing to keep up with. Okay, let's flip to the monthly page. For the monthly spread, I like to do kind of like one icon per day. I use a lot of stickers, magazine cutouts. That's pretty much it for these icons. And I try to pick something that kind of fits with whatever's going on that day. I also added in some like large words using a marker here. This is one of the Ritex sign brush pens. This is here, this brown one. And I don't remember which set that's in. I have all of the sets, and I love those markers because they are a nice thinner brush tip than like the Tombow dual tip brush pen, so you can write a lot smaller. Okay, let's move to the weeklies. Okay, so if you haven't seen my previous videos flipping through this planner or journal, what I've done for the weeklies is try something new each spread. So for this week that started November, and I think I shared this one in my October video as well because it kind of overlaps, I did my daily score from Wordle and Connections, and then I just decorated the bottom for my New York Times games. And I really love this one. I think this is my favorite one from November, and you can see as the month goes on, I kind of lost steam. So for this spread, I was inspired by Helen from the Coffee Monsterz Co. She uses this as sort of functional planning, but more of just like a schedule of what she did. And I had a super busy week this week, and I thought it would be nice to kind of schedule it out and use her style. I do love it. This was so time consuming. This took me multiple hours to do, which was just not worth it. And I didn't fill in the sides. So I'm super happy to not be doing weekly spreads like this anymore. I used to do these, but I do really like how it looks. For this one, again, like this is where I started kind of falling off, where it wasn't that I'm out of ideas, but I just was not motivated to do it. So I started by doing a rainbow of washi across the bottom and just kept like adding to it because I wanted to use some swatches of more of my washi tape. But I could have just filled the whole page like that. And honestly, I think I would have preferred that. But instead, I decided to do just kind of like an overview of the day using a nice marker tip in rainbow colors. And these are the Tombow twin tone markers. And this is the thicker bullet tip. There's also a super thin tip, which is like a pen. And I use these as kind of like my basic marker if I want to like write or draw like basic, like if I have like a basic thin marker that's not a brush tip. For this week, I decided to do ephemera, and I collected a bunch of ephemera and adhered it down. And this was pretty fun, but it was very time consuming again, and it also adds a lot of bulk. I try to use thin things as much as I could. Like some of these are super thin, like tissue paper things, but there were also some thicker ones. And I think that if I was doing this every week, it would start to cause issues, but it was very fun to do it once. Okay, here's where I really fell off. I was not really feeling doing anything. I was just so tired. So I just decided to just write random thoughts from the day. And you can see I just didn't even fill it in these days. I kind of forgot about it. And I just wasn't feeling it. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to leave it with the thoughts that I had for those specific days and not complete it, which is a way to use the spread. You can just use it as a spot where you write down thoughts that come to you throughout the day. And if nothing comes to you, then nothing comes to you. Those were days that I was just kind of busy and not really in my journal, or at least not in this spread. Okay, let's switch to the monthlies, or the daily, I mean. So for November, like with every other month, I started with my monthly vision board. I really loved how my November one came out. I used this gorgeous image as a background from Magnolia Journal, and I think it just really set the stage for the vibes I wanted for November. And then moving into my daily pages. Using some new inks that I just got from Ferris Wheel Press at the beginning of the month, I swatched them out, playing with this like teal ink, adding in my voting sticker, trying to add some more like of these like label stickers. I have a ton of those, and so I'm trying to use them because they are super cute. So I did use them in some of my daily pages you'll see coming up. Here I had this cut out of a magazine, and I thought it would be a nice big bold statement because I really wanted, so this is Sunday and Monday, and I had a lot of like crafting and stuff I wanted to do, but I didn't want to work on my daily journal that much. So I thought this would be a good way to kind of fill in the spread. And I really like how it came out. Here, I was just so busy. I had no time to journal, and rather than coming back and fill it in, I just did that, which I think really summarizes the day well. So I went to Brooklyn on Wednesday for work. So that's like, this day was like a crazy work day. If you don't know, I have a full-time job. I am a tax attorney. And so this is something I do like in my free time. And so I don't always have the time to journal every day, especially when I'm super busy at work. A lot of times I will backfill those pages, especially because I don't usually work more than like 2 consecutive days, like really hard, because I just mentally, physically, I can't handle that. So I do have my journal, and I go back and forth, and I'll skip like one day, but usually I'll go back and fill it in. Here, I was just so behind mentally. I just didn't want to. This was a super, super stressful month. So on Wednesday, I went down to Brooklyn for work, and I brought my journal with me. So I did this journaling from the hotel room, and I added in some ephemera. This is I cut out from the paper bag of where I got sushi. And I probably would have used my paper trimmer if I was at home, but I wasn't. So the lines are pretty wonky, and that's okay. And then here I added in a review. I finished a book while I was on the train down there. And then I added in my visitor pass to the courthouse. And it is so neon. And this is actually from this day. I didn't actually get one that day for some reason. But yeah, I like that it was a piece of ephemera, but it's so neon. I kind of regret putting it in here. This day I put my train ticket home as the majority, like the big thing here. It's a piece of ephemera, and it took up most of the page. Then I was able to just kind of journal a little bit there. and then back home and a weekend. So I switched back into my normal kind of style in here. Again, you can see me adding in these labels. I do kind of like how it works. I feel like I'm not going to do it a ton. But this is generally kind of how my pages look. Just some ephemera, stickers, washi, large titles, journaling. I do a lot of writing compared to a lot of people that I think when you see like the crafty journals, but my journal is still very crafty, and you'll see me kind of just depending on whatever I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I'm feeling more words, and sometimes I'm feeling more doodles. Sometimes I'm feeling more like stuff, just depends on the day. Here, continuing, now I'm trying another new pen. I had another new ink to try and playing around with that, adding in some ephemera. This is from my daily calendar. This one is also, so in 2025, I got 3 daily tear off calendars. So I'll show you. I have this one, which is from Hands Off My Dinosaur. This one from Rock Doodles, and this one from Eric's Small Things. And I love them all. They're very cute, but I have so many extra calendar pages that I'm not going to get any in 2026, or I might get one from a different brand to have something different, but definitely not getting 3 again. That was just way too many. I do keep most of the pages so I can add them in at some point, but this is from one of the larger ones. I think this is from Hands Off My Dinosaur. And then this one is from the Eric Small Things one. Here, printing out things from the internet. I often will take screenshots of things on Instagram that I like and print them out, and will add them into my spreads. I was screenshotting a lot of like things that were like pictures of tweets, and I found that I wasn't adding them in here that much because I just don't like the way they look. So I think I'm going to move away from that more and do more of these like infographics or like drawings from the internet, because I do really like how those look. Here, this one I think is from the Rock Doodles daily calendar. So just remembering to try to use those pieces. I went to the doctor this day, so I put my Band-Aid in here. Here's another screenshot. Again, I really like the drawing and like the cute ones. I got my Coffee Monsterz Co Q4 subscription, so I always swatch my new washi tape in here. When I get new washi, I also swatch it. I have a washi swatch book where I track like all the new washi I get, where it's from, when I got it, just to have that information. But I also like to mark it in here. I had my friends come over this day for a crafty day. We went out to lunch, so I got a sticker at the place where we went to lunch. I bought a new washi tape while we were together, so I put that in here. This was from the bag from the store we went to. And then I also got a new journal kit from Everyday Explorers. I subscribed for 6 months, so we'll see if I use the products, if I like them. But I did pick that up, and my first one also came on that day. Here, again, I'm doing a lot of these large titles, so a lot of these are using these Sailor Shikiori markers. These are my absolute favorites for journaling. I personally don't like the Tombow dual tip brush pens. I use a couple of them. I have them all. Most of them I just never use. I have a lot of reasons for why I don't like them, but this is not really a marker video. But these ones I highly recommend, and I just love the way they look. I love the way they write. So this is with it. This is with it. This. So I am using them for a lot of my titles. I will link all of my markers and pens in the description box below. For this one here, though, that is the Tombow Funisuki soft tip. I also use the hard tip a lot. So I use the hard tip to do like the outlining. And these ones are also kind of like must-haves for me. Okay, so here I added in some ephemera again. I inked up all of my fountain pens, like, well, not all of them, but I went through, cleaned all of them, re-inked them. And so I wanted to just kind of do like a currently inked, which I like. Here's what I was talking about. These are like some of those like tweets that I was trying to use some of them in, and I like what they say. They're very cute, but they just don't look good. So I might start like, I don't know, doodling them out or something to kind of get those jokes in here without having to put them looking like that. Another movie night in here. Adding in pieces of magazine cutouts. Really love doing that. Swatching new inks. Adding in stickers, titles. It's okay to have a little bit of white space. Got some new washi. I got a lot of new washi this month. I really have a washi addiction and problem, but I do use it, so I'm okay with that, but I possibly need to use more of what I have and stop buying more, because even though I use it a lot, I rarely use up a whole roll. So I need to get better about that. My Take a Note came, so that is my planner for 2026, and it was the last planner in my lineup. So I started kind of journaling here about like my 2026 lineup and getting that in, and I put some of the stickers in here and the washi that I ordered with the pre-order. Another review and just some journaling sticker from my order. This was from my daily calendar, the December daily prep party. I love Reductress on Instagram, so I screenshot a lot of their posts and include those. And so for my daily journaling, I do get a lot of questions like, what do I write about? I don't use prompts. Instead, I pretty much just write about whatever's on my mind. A lot of times it will be like, this is what happened. So like here I was journaling about work. Other times it's just, this is what I'm thinking about. So here I was thinking about my 5-year journal for next year. So I was just journaling about that. Just kind of random thoughts and just getting those out of my head and onto paper. Another review for the book I had been reading. Here I was like just trying to have a very productive day. So I was like writing things on here as I checked them off my list. No, I don't usually use this as a planner, and I don't. I do have a separate planner, but I just like, that was what I wanted to journal about, was just the accomplishment of that. So I was happy about that. And just playing with the blues. This was a new ink from Ferris Wheel Press for this month, and it was super bright blue. It's very pretty, but it's bright. So I was trying to like pair it with some of the Sailor Shikiori markers and make a page about that, like that worked with that. This was Thanksgiving, and we didn't have turkey, so I did the like not eating turkey day. And this was from the Rock Doodles. Yeah, I think that's from Rock Doodles daily calendar. Just doodling some in here. We put up the decorations. So adding in some stickers and things and doodles that fit my stories. This was my past day, and I was feeling very like crafty. So I cut these out of a piece of vellum that I had in my scrap bin, and I liked how that came out. I need to do more of that kind of stuff. So like a lot of my like style is like the large words and the doodles and the icons, but I do like to get like crafty in here, and I will add like more collage type things, magazine cutouts and that kind of stuff, just depending on how I'm feeling that day. This day was just errands and crafts, so just like writing just some thoughts, making a list, doodle, filling in the extra space with sticker, and then finishing up the month. So I finished this spread by using my dip pen. So I got this glass dip pen, and I just wanted to try it out. I was interested in how a dip pen worked. I also got this, what is this called? It's like fountain pen ink, or not fountain, it's not fountain pen ink. It's professional calligraphy ink from Ferris Wheel Press. It's super glittery, so you can't use it in a fountain pen, but I wanted to use it. So I tried it with the dip pen, and I would say it looks a little messy, but I think that was also just like learning, but it was also kind of fun. So it was just something new to try. I also always finish out my month with a recap, and I was using these stickers this month or this year from Abby C that are from her Patreon. I'm not doing that, or I'm not getting those again next year. I don't know if she's doing something similar, but I canceled her Patreon mail. It was just a little bit too expensive for me, even though I love her work. So maybe I'll get it again in the future, but I wasn't watching the content or anything. So I did cancel that, but I will probably do something similar with like a monthly recap, because I like kind of reflecting on that on the last day of the month. Okay, that wraps up November. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.